What's up, guys? Well, this is our last lesson about internationalization. In fact, this lesson is more of a curiosity, so to speak. It will help you understand how the translation template we created can be used. This lesson can be of great help to anyone who wants to learn how to translate a theme in the easiest way in WordPress. Maybe not everyone who is doing this course is interested in creating themes to redistribute, so I think this lesson will help a lot. Maybe in the future, someone will ask you to translate a theme into another language, so how do you do it? You'll be learning all about it today. So the first thing I should say here is that I will not be using any plugins this time, okay? If you want to use plugins, go ahead. I must confess it's a lot easier, but the problem is that often your theme will be forever dependent on this plugin for the translation to work. And that will depend on how you configure the plugin, of course. So let's get started. We have the most important file for this, which is our POT file. But Marcelo, I have only the PO file available in my theme. What can I do? So guys, no problems. You can use it too, right? First, I'm gonna double click the POT file. And of course, it can be the PO file too if you don't have the POT file. The difference is that the PO file will already bring the translations, while the POT file will be empty. That's more or less the only difference between the two files. So let's go over to the file menu, new from PO file. I select the POT file, or the PO file of course, which is in the languages folder. If you're asked for it, fill in the data such as your name, email address, your language, country, etc. For the language, you can use the international format. If you don't know how to use it, I'll leave a link where you can find the string corresponding to your language. So go ahead and click on that link. In this case, PoEdit is not asking me that. I'm just gonna choose the language I want to translate the theme into. This time it will be Brazilian Portuguese, which is my native language. Now you can go ahead and start translating your theme. To do this, you'll position the cursor in this box, and here it will translate the term that is currently selected. To go to the next line, just press Ctrl and the down arrow. On the Mac is Command and down arrow, and translate one by one. Just pay attention to these formats here, okay? You can't modify the contents of these codes, okay? So the safest things to do in this case is to copy the same text and translate without changing the codes. You can copy and paste, or what I think is easier, right click and choose copy from source text, or use Ctrl B or Command B on Mac. Another point of attention is these types of texts. They have a singular and a plural form, so you need to complete both translations, for the plural and for the singular. Another feature that helps the translator a lot is this one here. When I right click on the text, I can see exactly in which file and what line the text is. This can help me understand the context of the translation. Very interesting. Finally, another thing that helps speed up the translation are these suggestions. If you started using PoEdit now, you will not have anything here. But as you translate, the program saves the translations into a memory and makes them available to you. Then you just click or use the indicated shortcut keys and the text goes right into the translation box. Very good. So I think I'm satisfied, and I'm gonna finish the translation. Notice that PoEdit only generates the translation file if it considers the translation is valid. Otherwise, it will not save the file to you. To check if everything is correct, you click on this icon here. In Windows, though, it's the same icon with the word validate. When you click here, it will check if everything is correct and if you can already save the file. I'm gonna click here then. Well, I don't have any errors, but I've got these warnings here, so I'll go ahead and correct them. Just validate again. There are a couple more warnings, so I'll go ahead and correct them too. Now it's finished. And now I can save. Now if I look in the languages folder, I'll have the two Portuguese translation files. Here we got both the PO and also the AMO file that is being created automatically by PoEdit. But if your PoEdit is not saving the AMO file along with the PO, just go over here to PoEdit again, File menu, and ask to compile the AMO file. So alright, everything is almost ready. Let's test if the translation works. So if you look at the theme's homepage, we'll see that it's still in English, right? So if the translation worked, these terms here will all change according to the translation we made. To activate this translation, we go over here to the admin, settings menu, and let's say now that the site's language is Brazilian Portuguese. Let's save. And as you see, the admin is already in Portuguese because this translation comes from the WordPress translation package. Now let's look at the front end. So refreshing the home page. Look at that. Now we got the homepage terms already translated. Here in Portuguese, here too. That's amazing. So you must be wondering why not everything has been translated. For example, the menu names and sometimes some strings coming from the WooCommerce. In my case, it's translated, but sometimes you see that it's not translated. Well, that has to do with what I told you in past lectures. The translation affects only the areas that are responsibility of the theme template files. It doesn't affect the content of plugins. For example, this strings comes from the WooCommerce plugin. If I wanted this in Portuguese, I would need to download the WooCommerce Brazilian Portuguese translation package. That's very simple. The menu names come all from the database. The site owner has to translate them with the use of a plugin, for example, the local translate plugin. But this has nothing to do with you, the theme creator. Your task is already finished. You have already generated the POT file. The rest is up to your client. A good plugin for you to recommend to your client or for your own use is the local translate plugin, as I said before. You can also use Polylang or another plugin. Local translate allows you to translate the complete content of the site, including posts, pages, and contents from the customizer. Those plugins are free, okay? But another widely used one is WPML. It's excellent, but it's a premium plugin. You have to pay for it. You can even add that little flag that helps the users switch between the languages in the front end. Let's see what has changed here in the admin too. Head over to Theme Customizer. And look at this. Everything is also translated to us. Now, if you're still seeing something that you don't like, just adjust the translation by reopening the PO file, save the PO file again, and regenerate the MO, since it is this MO file that is important for WordPress. It is no use having the PO file updated if the MO is not, right? 2 tips to finish out. if you're creating themes for redistribution, never leave your POT file outdated, right? Whenever you add or remove something from the theme template files, update the POT file. The process is the same I showed you in the last video. Just reopen the POT file and click the button to update the strings. Later in the course, you'll need to update the POT file once again due to some new features that you'll be incorporating into the theme, and you see this in practice. If you don't update the file, people who use your theme in other countries will be very disappointed with you, and for a good reason. Second tip, take time to let your theme ready to be used with languages that are written from right to left. This is a big market with about 1 billion people. Reaching those people may be interesting to you. So I also leave a link in this lesson so you can delve into the subject. So enjoy it. Alright guys, that's it for now. After this long process, I hope you have enjoyed the final result. I also hope that at least you have acquired a totally new knowledge with these lessons. I'll wait for you then in the next lesson. We'll be talking about an essential subject for your theme, security. Don't lose it, don't miss it, right? Until then, take care.